It's time for the Empower Hour with your host, Brenda Pierce. Dynamic and fresh, the Empower Hour will bring to you stimulating insight and interviews with the most empowering people in the world today. Here's Brenda.
Welcome to the Empower Hour. I'm Brenda Pierce, your host. Today's show is a special and unique one. We will be addressing ways to safe keep you and your family's health happy and safe this year, because there's so much going on this year with flus, influenzas, colds, and the dreaded news about the Ebola crisis, which has been rocking the world. We hear daily about deaths related to this very terrible event, massive tolls in Africa, and the risk to the rest of us all around the world. We hear on one hand how infection control measures are well in hand and that everything is under control, and yet we're hearing on the other hand how there are lapses in security and how this has failed, allowing the Ebola to spread beyond its borders in Africa. This creates fear and pandemonium. We are here to share tips and options to empower you during this challenging time. My very, very special guest today is Tom Paladino, an energy researcher with Scalar Energy technology. Tom Paladino's research and work with Scalar Energy began during his undergraduate years. He was inspired by various scientists like Nikola Tesla and the Hieronymus family as to the existence of an energy that is not of the electromagnetic spectrum. With this inspiration, he pursued a course of independent study in order to better understand and subsequently harness scalar energy. Scalar energy is also known as prana, chi, ki, radiant energy, zero-point energy, orgone, eloptic, and many other different names. After years of experimentation and modification, Tom Paladino quickly and painlessly developed a technique that will transmute pathogens. This technique facilitates the use of actual photographs of people who desire to have pathogens transmuted in their bodies. The Empower Hour is thrilled to have Tom Paladino with us here this afternoon, and we're going to be researching and discovering and learning all about scalar energy technology and what it can do to help transmute pathogens and improve the health and safety of people all around the world. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here.
Oh, well, we started the show by talking about what we're going to be doing, and that is really putting some hope and possibility out there that there is a safe, natural way, very effective, to transmute pathogens and improve health. And you're the go-to guy for this.
Thank you. That's right. I am working with an energy that allows me to do all of the aforesaid. I have a scalar energy process in which I can quickly and painlessly and effectively transmute or break apart germs. All of this is done by way of light. It is, if I believe, and if I may, it's quite revolutionary. It's quite different, and I think someday it will really catch on and serve to change the way we look at pathogenic disease.
Yes, and that's wonderful because, I was listening to the news on the way to the studio this morning, and the Center for Disease Control is saying that measures are in place to help control the spread of Ebola, which is really, really scaring the heck out of a lot of people these days. And yet, on the other hand, I was hearing the head of the RNAO, which is the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario, that those measures are really not in place. And so there's this conundrum of ensuring public safety and also ensuring health and well-being of the caregivers that are out there that are dealing with this, as well as ensuring that there is a way of controlling it and, transmuting it so that this does not have to become the fear-mongering situation that it is becoming on the news. And so this is where your role comes into play here, because there are alternatives and a lot of people are not aware of them. And it's really important to get the word out that there is safe, natural ways using the energy processes which are already around us and do not contain any antibiotics or treatments that are going to cause more harm or cause, shall we say, irreversible other damages that can happen.
That's right. Imagine this, people. I'm working with scalar energy, and it's different from that of electricity. Well, scalar energy allows me to control a germ, a pathogen. What do I mean by that? Well, scalar energy, again, is different from that of electricity. Scalar energy has different properties from that of the electromagnetic spectrum. Well, one of the properties that I have discovered about scalar energy, this energy is able to actually assemble physical matter or disassemble physical matter. Obviously, this is a fundamental consideration. Well, I've developed a technique whereby I can take scalar energy and disassemble, break apart germs, pathogens. And I've been doing this now for years. I've perfected this technique, and I'm ready, frankly, to introduce it to the world. I believe the technique that I have developed will save countless suffering around the world can be alleviated. I will be able, with this process, to reverse pathogenic disease and significantly improve the lifestyle of people everywhere. So that's the point of our discussion today. I'm trying to get the word out. I'm a private researcher. I don't have any university or government backing, if you will. I've developed this all on my own. And the purpose of our discussion today is to introduce this process, this wonderment, if you will, the ability to easily and in a consummate fashion to break apart, to disassemble a germ, really opens up the door to being able to finally address all types of pathogenic disease and frankly, put them to rest.
Wow. You know, Tom, I'm a registered nurse, and germs are a part of my day-to-day practice. I work in long-term care, and the rates of urinary tract infections and then nosocomial infections and things like that are just part of it. And we treat oftentimes with antibiotics, whether they are going to work or not work. Some people colonize bacteria within their body and live with it or die because of it. And you're telling me today that there is a natural way of doing this to break apart, transmute these bacteria, and rid the world of what the harm this can do.
Precisely. Imagine that. And the reason I can make such a statement is not because of any extraordinary ability of mine. To the contrary, I've developed scalar energy instruments that allow me to control matter. And in so doing, the matter that I can now control and frankly have mastery over are germs. So, for instance, let's say somebody has tuberculosis. That's caused by a bacterium known as Mycobacterium tuberculosis. I have the ability to break apart those bacteria that are causing pathogenic infection. I can disassemble Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It's a painless procedure. I do it all by way of light. Now, to give you an analogy, consider a vocalist. Some people can sing and shatter glass with their voice. Well, what are they doing? Well, they're singing. They're actually projecting the resonating frequency back into a glass, a wine glass, and then ultimately that glass will vibrate and shatter. Well, in principle, I do the same thing with a germ. I broadcast scalar energy into a germ. And that specific harmonic or that intelligence serves to unbind, disassemble, or disrupt the geometry of the pathogen. And just like a wine glass can break apart and shatter, likewise, I can broadcast scalar energy and break apart, shatter germs. So this is, again, an approach to wellness that really has never been attempted before. I have perfected this technique. And it's just, frankly, a matter of time before the real world will realize the efficacy as to what I'm doing and, frankly, jump on the bandwagon.
Wow. And you've done this research on your own dime, and for you to have the effect, I know that you've been on various other radio shows and seminars and things like that to get the word out. can you take on the massive amount of germs that are out there from your own laboratory?
Yes, I can. We have a wonderful staff. Presently, we're able to disassemble, potentially now, over 25,000 species of germs.
Wow.
Now, let me explain in a nutshell how we do this. My scalar energy instrument will disassemble a germ if I introduce a photograph of that germ into the instrument. In other words, very simply, I take a magnified photograph of a germ and I place it inside my scalar energy instrument. And my instrument then will broadcast the energy of that germ into a person. So if you will, I have close to 30,000 photographs of germs. And in so doing, I am able now to disassemble, disrupt over 25,000, perhaps as many as 30,000 species of germs by way of my scalar energy instrument. So it's all cause and effect here, people. What I'm doing is not guesswork. I simply introduce a germ into my instrument, and then my instrument sends out the energy to break apart to disassemble that germ. So everything is objective, if you will. It's not a psychic instrument that I'm working with. My subjectivity is not called into play. I objectively define a pathogen, and then my scalar energy instrument will disrupt that pathogen. And it works.
Wow.
It works. I'm having incredible success.
Wow. And
so, if you will, this broadcast today is, in essence, the coming out of my work. I would love people to get on board and to realize that within our grasp, we finally can address, in a consummate fashion, pathogenic disease.
Wow, that is the wish and the goal. And unfortunately, we have to take a short break, Tom. But I would like everybody to just stay tuned and stay glued to this, because I think that there's a lot of wonderful information here that Tom is presenting that gives great possibility to the potentials of breaking through pandemics and breaking the fear, pain, and anxiety that these things create all around the world. You are listening to the Empower Hour with Brenda Pierce here on the Empowerment Channel on the Connect Me Radio Network. And we'll take a brief break and be right back.
Imagine dropping your baby off at your best friend's house and never seeing your child ever again. I'm Sue London, host of Get Inspired Radio on the Empowerment Channel on Connect Me Radio Network. Join us this week as Elizabeth Cookson shares her horrific journey of her baby dying while in the care of her best friend. Elizabeth will share her journey of letting go and forgiving. Join us on Thursday, November the 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern on Get Inspired Radio.
Spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, stroke. The diagnosis is devastating, but it's not the end of the road. Are you ready to take your next step? With advanced robotics and technology, integrated hands-on therapy, unique exercise programs, and compassionate, motivating, specially trained therapists, your goals are within reach. Progress is possible. Find out how. Book a tour online. Visit aimtowalk.ca.
Thinking about a career change? The construction industry offers great opportunities for women in a variety of trade, technical, and professional fields. The Canadian Association of Women in Construction is working to make the future even brighter for women in the industry. This is your chance to be a part of a paradigm shift in the construction industry through KWIC's Women's Advancement Project. Visit kwic.ca and help build your future.
If you'd like to advertise on this program or any other White Rock Media production, contact the White Rock Media team at 905-990-2782. That's 905-990-2782.
Passion is everything when it comes to hair, so trust your hair to an artist. Jason Kearns of Kearns & Co. is known across North America for making the hottest high-fashion looks work for real people. Jason and his team of expert stylists bring together creativity, vision, and the very latest hair care systems, color, and products to create looks that have heads turning. Your hair is the most important fashion accessory you will ever own. Trust it to the experts. Start today. Visit kearnsandco.co.
When you look for a trial lawyer, what are you really looking for?
Determined, passionate, strong.
Well-respected, Marcy Siegel has had a successful criminal law practice for over 20 years and now includes family and civil law services for you, her clients, bringing dedication, skill, and integrity to your corner. She's a strong advocate, tenacious, and has a track record to back it up. Looking for an exceptional litigator to fight for you? Click to marcysiegel.com and get the help you need for criminal, family, and civil matters. marcysiegel.com.
Welcome back to the Empower Hour here with Brenda Pierce, and Tom Paladino is our special guest, teaching us all about scalar energy therapy and what it can do to break through the pain, fear, anxiety that's being modified around the world, mediated around the world, and perpetuated around the world through this Ebola crisis. And we're entering into flu and cold season. And so it's really important for us to really know how we can take charge of ourselves, empower ourselves to live our healthiest and fullest life. Welcome back, Tom.
Thank you so much, Brenda.
It is fascinating that light energy can do so much. We think about UV rays and skin cancer and, greenhouse gases and all this sort of thing. But the light frequencies have a very effective natural healing process of disassembling and transmuting pathogens, which is your focus. And I'd love for you to expand a little bit more on that.
Sure. I decided that in order for me to prove that scalar energy exists, I would have to do something very convincing to demonstrate that. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, there's two energies in the universe. There is electromagnetic energy, which is electricity and magnetism, and then the second energy that is frankly unrecognized is scalar energy. Well, many of you understand scalar energy, and actually some of you are quite adept with scalar energy. You might not even know it. Scalar energy is chi, prana. Scalar energy is zero-point energy, ether energy. You could even consider thought and intuition scalar energy. So my point is this. Scalar energy is all around us. The stars of the universe generate scalar energy. The universe is filled with scalar energy. Sadly, we simply don't understand that. We don't realize that there's something besides electricity out there. Well, there was a number of great scientists. One of them is Nikola Tesla, and Tesla laid the groundwork for scalar energy research. And in many ways, I'm following in the footsteps of this great mind, this great scientist. I endeavor to show that scalar energy is indeed a reality, and that if we harness it, control it, we will improve our lives immeasurably. Now, immediately, I am trying to show that scalar energy will handily, in a routine fashion, break apart, disassemble germs. Well, to that end, I've been treating a number of people for Ebola infection. And frankly, provided I can start treating people before hemorrhaging begins, the success of people recovering from the Ebola infection are favorable, quite favorable.
Wow.
If you recall, there were a number of people who were flown into the United States to be treated for Ebola. Well, I've been treating many of those people. And invariably, if I am able once again to start treating those people before the hemorrhaging begins, I'm able to reverse this course. I am able to, in some fashion, disassemble the virus, the Ebola virus.
Right.
This is very promising to me. I have been repeating this good fortune, and I think in the future people will eventually understand that it is scalar energy that will allow us to control the physical universe. Now, subsumed under that are pathogens. So again, my immediate response, my immediate consideration is to prove that scalar energy can control the pathogenic kingdom. If I can demonstrate that, well, then it just stands to reason people will understand that you can control a pathogen, and then you should be able to control the rest of physical nature.
What a wonderful, wonderful idea that is. And, if people go to your website, healselfgo.com, you can actually see a lot of testimonials and visual pictures of changes that have happened because of Tom's work with the scalar energy. And I think that that's one of the things that people need to know, is that there is actually hardcore science behind this, and there's actual proof behind all this as well. And so your site is jam-packed full of that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And as you said, there's testimonials, thousands of testimonials that I have received. All of these obviously tell the story. All of these shed light on the fact that there is indeed a great benefit to use scalar energy to improve human health. This is, if you will, frankly, people, a godsend. And that's the whole point. I want to show how easy this is. This is not difficult. Scalar energy is not electricity. Hence, what I'm able to achieve with scalar energy, I could never achieve with electricity. Well, frankly, I can in routine fashion, break apart a germ. I can't do that with electricity or magnetism. So, again, this calls to mind the opportunity for mankind. If we finally recognize and acknowledge scalar energy, it should serve to change not only the way we treat pathogenic infection. Scalar energy is going to transform our lives. We will be living in a much different world, a much better world, if we finally embrace scalar energy and incorporate it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just sitting here flabbergasted, thinking about all the different applications that this can be applied to and the outcomes. Like, lots of times viruses still attach themselves to surgical instruments, causing post-operative infections. With scalar energy technology in place, this would not have to happen anymore, correct?
That's correct. Now, the beauty of scalar energy is this, people. Again, it's not electricity. In order for me to address any object or person and treat it with scalar energy, all I need is a photograph of that person or object. And the way that works is a photograph of a person is a source of light. It's your light signature, if you will. And by placing your photograph inside my scalar energy instrument, I can make a connection between you and my instrument. Well, that's in similar fashion comparable to how a cell phone can communicate with another cell phone, or how a satellite can communicate with a radio. There doesn't have to be a physical wire connecting two cell phones. Well, likewise, when I'm treating people for scalar energy, there doesn't have to be a physical connection between my instrument and the person. So what I'm saying is this. In order to treat somebody, all I need is a photograph of that person.
Wow.
The photograph will allow me to broadcast energy anywhere in the world. Hence, we have the means now, by way of scalar energy, this technique that I've developed, to treat people around the world. And they don't, frankly, have to come to my laboratory. I have been treating people routinely, daily, for the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. Well, I've never set foot in West Africa. I simply have photographs sent to me on a daily basis, and I'm treating the people in West Africa for the Ebola virus. And I frankly, once again, think my treatments are very effective. I believe in many ways, by using scalar energy, we can significantly address this growing outbreak, this burgeoning problem.
Not only this burgeoning problem, but any future burgeoning problem that crops up. Now, do you believe that there's sometimes is a natural bacteria or virus and it can be manipulated to create new versions of it that have mimic same diseases?
Yeah, yes, I do. And this is what I found about scalar energy. Scalar energy allows me to disrupt the genetic composition, say, of a virus. Yes, many viruses mutate, but if I'm able to, say, disrupt at least, say, 50% of a virus, and the other 50% is a new mutation, I understand. The benefit is this, and the telling card is this. Even though a virus will mutate, provided I have a photograph of that virus, I still can treat out, I still can disassemble perhaps 40%, 50%, 60% of its genome. Perhaps the remaining part is a new mutation. Well, I'll give you an analogy. If I can look at a car engine and I can tell you that perhaps I cannot disrupt and disassemble the entire car engine, but I can disrupt 50% of the car engine, I could guarantee you a car engine will not start, will not function.
That's true.
Well, I do the same thing with viruses. I realize viruses mutate, but provided I'm able to treat out, to disassemble, say, perhaps 50% of the nucleic acid, the RNA and the DNA, well, that virus is now inoperable. It cannot function. So that's the beauty of scalar energy. Everything is done by way of light interpretation, and regardless of how often a virus mutates, I still can treat out part of the genome. I still can disassemble some of the RNA or the DNA. And in so doing, if I can disassemble, if I can disrupt the geometry of some of the nucleic acid, inevitably that virus will not be operable. That virus will be ineffective and will not be able to integrate into a host cell.
Wow. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. And I think some of our audience and listeners may have a bit of a challenge with the using a photo and the distance piece. And as a Reiki practitioner and anybody who is an energy practitioner of some modality or another understands energy knows no space or time. And Einstein actually has been the credited with bringing that forth. So it's, for anybody who has, even on a day-to-day basis, if you've ever picked up the phone thinking you're going to call somebody and the phone never rang and they're on the other end, that's scalar energy at work, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Well put. It's some people call it deja vu or intuition. Some people call it telepathy. Yes, telepathy is scalar energy. So how is it that people can communicate without a wire, without a telephone? How is it that some people can anticipate a future event?
Well, Tom,
all of that is done by... Yeah.
Tom, we'll leave that as the burning question for after our next break, okay? So right now, everyone, hang tight. We're going to really have a great education from Tom Paladino on how energy works. Right after this commercial break, you're listening to the Empower Hour on the Empowerment Channel on the Connect Me Radio Network.
Imagine dropping your baby off at your best friend's house and never seeing your child ever again. I'm Sue London, host of Get Inspired Radio on the Empowerment Channel on Connect Me Radio Network. Join us this week as Elizabeth Cookson shares her horrific journey of her baby dying while in the care of her best friend. Elizabeth will share her journey of letting go and forgiving. Join us on Thursday, November the 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern on Get Inspired Radio.
If you'd like to advertise on this program or any other White Rock Media production, contact the White Rock Media team at 905-990-2782. That's 905-990-2782.
When it comes to career choices for women, the construction industry is brimming with career opportunities in a variety of trade, technical, and professional fields across all sectors of the industry. The Canadian Association of Women in Construction is working to make the future even brighter for women in construction. You can be a part of KWIC's Women's Advancement Project, keeping KWIC on top of our industry needs. Visit kwic.ca and help build your future.
Canadian women. Smart, driven, dynamic. We have all the tools to build successful lives for ourselves and our families. But where do we begin? TD Wealth Management Specialists can help you define your vision and goals and ultimately begin the process of achieving those goals. Get started on writing the story of your financial future. You have the tools. Let TD lend the guidance. It's your story, your future. Start today. Visit tdwaterhouse.ca and listen Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Canada Talks.
Spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, stroke. The diagnosis is devastating, but it's not the end of the road. Are you ready to take your next step? With advanced robotics and technology, integrated hands-on therapy, unique exercise programs, and compassionate, motivating, specially trained therapists, your goals are within reach. Progress is possible. Find out how. Book a tour online. Visit aimtowalk.ca.
It's time to share your message, your next big idea, your products, or your services on the internet. Vincify.com offers professional websites that work on all smart devices and include free domain name, web hosting, emails, and an easy-to-use interface to create your perfect website. Check us out on whatshesaid.radio.com or visit Vincify.com. That's Vincify.com and sign up for a free trial today.
Welcome back to the Empower Hour on the Empowerment Channel on the Connect Me Radio Network. This is Brenda Pierce here, and we're having a fascinating conversation with Tom Paladino of Scalar Technology. Tom, let's carry forth and really let us have an education on how energy really works.
Sure. Well, let's go back to my one of my initial premises, that scalar energy is fundamental, and it is a communication system of the universe. Well, when people have some type of telepathy or deja vu, that is scalar energy. Some people say they have a hunch, or they're able with intuition to read somebody, if you will. They're able to understand, have a deeper understanding of a person. That all is scalar energy in action. So I have developed a scalar energy instrument that allows me likewise to access, I'll call it a hologram. I'm able to access to find my way into the scalar energy universe. And the scalar energy universe is different from that of the electromagnetic universe. So once I'm in this scalar energy universe, it has so many different properties, and it's frankly so superior to that of electricity. One of the benefits of a scalar energy environment is you're able to communicate with somebody instantly. You see, there is no time, there is no space in scalar energy. If the universe is a hologram, everything is interconnected. Now, many of you have a cloud, if you will, for your computer, for your data. Well, that's wonderful. There's a cloud in the computer industry. Well, imagine a cloud in the scalar energy universe. And that cloud is infinite, people. And all of the intelligence, all of the information in the universe is in that scalar energy cloud. Well, many times when people ask me, how is it that I can access a person by way of a photograph, it's the same way you can access information by way of a computer in the cloud. It's an information system, and it already exists. You simply have to have a machine, a computer, to tap into the cloud. Well, likewise, I need a scalar energy instrument to tap into the scalar energy cloud. And with that ability, I am able then to communicate with people by way of a photograph. Now, again, just as two people can communicate by way of telepathy, people, again, have the ability by way of intuition or a hunch. They are able to see a future event or have a deep understanding of something. They can penetrate a scientific principle. All of that is by way of scalar energy. Have you ever asked yourself, why is it that some people have an incredible memory? Well, all of that is afforded by way of scalar energy. It's the cloud. Scalar energy allows us to have incredible memories. Some people have memories that are photographic. That's a gift of the scalar energy cloud, if you will. Well, that's what I have discovered. And within this cloud, the scalar energy cloud, I'm able to access anybody in the world and treat them with a photograph. Wow. Imagine what this presents to mankind.
Absolutely. It's phenomenal. And, you know, for many people, this is their first hearing about scalar energy or, you know, your technology or the fact that what we can do with this. So your focus is on pathogens and ridding the world of those kind of icky kind of things. What other applications can scalar energy be used for?
Sure. Ultimately, I believe scalar energy will allow us to correct the human genome. And in so doing, we should be able to correct cancer. There have been scalar energy researchers, one by the name of Antoine Priory, who back in the 50s and 60s developed a scalar energy instrument, and he was able to, with this scalar energy plasma tube, he was able to cure cancer.
Wow.
And he was doing it rather routinely. Well, it occurs to me that his scalar energy instrument simply downloaded the proper information back into a host cell, back into somebody's genome. Now, how can you cure cancer with a plasma tube? Well, apparently this man Prairie did that, and it's all by way of scalar energy, which is what? Again, this intelligent energy that allows us to access information. If we can download the correct information into a human being, we can correct the mutation, the cancer, and subsequently we can, in fundamental fashion, in consummate fashion, address cancer. I believe Prairie had the cure, if you will, for cancer. Wow. Someday I'd like to follow in his footsteps.
Well, you're making a great impact right now with the pathogens, and they're rampant. They're naturally occurring organisms, and yet in the wrong host can cause a whole multitude of illness and disrepair and disease and on and on. And so it's fascinating. I wonder why. If this stuff has been around, and obviously scalar energy is infinite, it has no beginning, has no end, can be transmuted, cannot be destroyed. All those tenets that Einstein has told us about energy. Why is it then that this is not the main way of going with treating all these different illnesses? Why is it like, wow, this is brand new when it's been around forever?
Yes, that's an excellent question. And ultimately, we have to say that some of this information is being suppressed. If great scientists like Nikola Tesla was working with scalar energy over 100 years ago, but the world really has ignored so many of his advancements, why? What's the point? Who's manipulating this scene? I don't believe my research has been given consideration properly. I believe in many ways my research is ignored. Well, I'm not trying to hide. Obviously, this telecast is a symbol of my willingness to share my information, to share my research. So we have to consider the powers that be, people, and there are vested interests in this world that perhaps would not want this technology to come to the fore. This technology would represent a threat and would in many ways disrupt the monopolies of the world. Mm-hmm. Scalar energy would allow mankind to overcome so many monopolies. Well, we have an interest out there, a power play, and that is, I think, causing us the interference.
Wow. Well, it's time, with technology being the way it is, the internet is is everywhere. People are accessing conversations like this all around the world. I think it's empowering for us to know that there are other ways to live, to be. And it doesn't have to be the status quo that we're receiving, through the conventional avenues. And again, it's your choice. And this is the empowering thing, is if this resonates with you and you'd like to discover more of what Tom Paladino has to offer, go to healselfgo.com and access his site and connect with him. And if this isn't for you, because this isn't for you, then that's okay too, right, Tom?
Of course. I want people to feel comfortable.
Yes. And this is it. And it's empowering yourself with knowledge is always the best way to go, and have all the resources presented to you is definitely better than going, experiencing something and being scared. I know MRSA and VRE, which are the superbugs that are out there right now that are resistant to antibiotics, generally are benign in their effect, but when a person becomes susceptible through, skin break or rash or infection of some type, then it flares up. It has really serious consequences. And so, this technology could really be the answer to what's happened with antibiotics, for instance, with there being so much resistance being developed because the mutation of germs over time to compensate, to protect themselves, right? This could be very powerful.
Yes, well put. See, nothing impedes scalar energy. And no matter how often a germ may mutate, no matter how often a pathogen may be immune to antibiotics, nothing supersedes light. So scalar energy will disassemble a germ regardless of what type of immunity that germ has developed after being treated with antibiotics.
Very, very powerful stuff. Go into the light with Tom Paladino here with Scalar Energy. Tom, again, just really applauding you for bringing this forward. I know you're on a mission to educate as many people around the world as possible, as quickly as possible. And the urgency and the timeliness of this is really now, right?
Of course. The sooner the better, people. This is meant to help us. That's the whole point. Life is about people. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to introduce a better way. I'm trying to find a way whereby we can finally address pathogenic infection, and in a broader scope, finally we can embrace this energy, scalar energy, and improve our lives.
Imagine a world where we wouldn't have to worry about disease and germs. That would be heaven on earth.
Exactly. Incredible.
It would be. Watching people suffer and die needlessly is a real crime.
Yes, it is. And I think soon the world is going to embrace this. The people will see how simple and effective this is, Brenda. They will embrace this. Frankly, I'm quite surprised people haven't embraced it yet, but that day is coming. And this will save lives. That's the whole point. We will alleviate a great deal of suffering, and we're going to save lives.
Right. And what value do you put on your own life? That's the question. Well, Tom, I really, really appreciate you being here with us today and sharing with us all this wonderful information. And, maybe again, if you could give out your information as to how people can get in contact with you and how they can get their photos to you and all this sort of wonderful stuff, that'd be great.
Sure. My website is selfhealgo.com. And you simply visit the website. If you have any questions, we have a support desk. We have either a phone number or an email box that you can ask a question. And we'll take it from there. We'll walk you through the process.
That's amazing. You have a wonderful staff on hand, and you're very readily accessible, and that is just commendable for what you're doing and bringing forth. Any last thoughts? We have 2 minutes left before the close of the show.
Sure, people. All of this, what Brenda and I are trying to impart today, is to demonstrate that scalar energy has a blessing for everybody. Scalar energy will indeed, as she has put it so adroitly, will empower us. This energy will make our lives better. Now, imagine a world without electricity. Look what electricity has done for mankind. Well, my contention is this. Scalar energy will serve to transform, improve our lives, and have a greater impact than that of the electrical age. Because there's so much more that we can do with scalar energy that we can't do with electricity. And ultimately, scalar energy will allow us to have dominion over nature. We will have this control over the physical universe. We will have dominion over nature. That's the purpose of our discussion today. I hope you see the benefit. I hope you will, in your own fashion, pray for this advancement. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Tom, you've been a wonderful guest. Many blessings to you and much success as you go on your journey here to empower people around the world to live their fullest and healthiest, happiest life. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you, Brenda.
You have been listening to the Empower Hour on the Empowerment Channel on the Connect Me Radio Network. This is Brenda Pierce, and I want you to remember you are loved and you are loved. You are blessed and you are a blessing. Remember to tune in each Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for another wonderful edition to empower your life to the fullest life experience possible. Bye for now.
You've been listening to Brenda Pierce's The Empower Hour, right here on Connect Me Radio's Empowerment Channel. Join Brenda each week for information and interviews, giving you the power to make choices every day.
Thinking about a career change? The construction industry offers great opportunities for women in a variety of trade, technical, and professional fields. The Canadian Association of Women in Construction is working to make the future even brighter for women in the industry. This is your chance to be a part of a paradigm shift in the construction industry through KWIC's Women's Advancement Project. Visit kwic.ca and help build your future.
If you'd like to advertise on this program or any other White Rock Media production, contact the White Rock Media team at 905-990-2782. That's 905-990-2782.
Passion is everything when it comes to hair, so trust your hair to an artist. Jason Kearns of Kearns & Co. is known across North America for making the hottest high-fashion looks work for real people. Jason and his team of expert stylists bring together creativity, vision, and the very latest hair care systems, color, and products to create looks that have heads turning. Your hair is the most important fashion accessory you will ever own. Trust it to the experts. Start today. Visit kearnsandco.co.
It's time to share your message, your next big idea, your products, or your services on the internet. Vincify.com offers professional websites that work on all smart devices and include free domain name, web hosting, emails, and an easy-to-use interface to create your perfect website. Check us out on whatshesaid.radio.com or visit Vincify.com. That's Vincify.com and sign up for a free trial today.
When you look for a trial lawyer, what are you really looking for?
Determined, passionate, strong.
Well respected, Marcy Siegel has had a successful criminal law practice for over 20 years and now includes family and civil law services for you, her clients, bringing dedication, skill, and integrity to your corner. She's a strong advocate, tenacious, and has a track record to back it up. Looking for an exceptional litigator to fight for you? Click to marcysiegel.com and get the help you need for criminal, family, and civil matters. marcysiegel.com.